Cool. 11:47. Let's get right into it. So today we have FOMC. Good move from Asia yesterday, by the way. Push into kind of unfinished business, by the way. So today we have FOMC 1700 and 1730. Press conference and the actual federal fund rates. Just posted the longs on gold right now from 4329. Today. It's a huge day for the markets. Um, there's gonna be a lot of reactions, pretty much on standby. Does that make sense? The reactions are gonna be on the sideline because a lot of people would like to get involved, swings, intraday moves, whatever it may be. So we have been tracking this week, and it's been pretty choppy. It's been pretty choppy, apart from New York and London on Monday opened clean. So I did say in my previous recording, Asia's first lows over here. Two breaches to the downside are pending. New York's first low, upside breaches are pending. Okay, we have a. So let me just go over this. Okay, we've got a. By the way, bear with me. I am going to clarify a couple of things and I will get to current market price. So we have Asia Delta model, London non-Delta model, New York Delta model. So wherever you see this rectangle tool here, yeah, that's me highlighting the Delta candle. Asia Delta model, London non-Delta model, New York Delta model, Asia non-Delta model, and the current session non-Delta model. So regards to the whole, let's start with London, okay? London, New York, sorry, Asia and London. It's a non-Delta model, meaning that London's discovery and further price action discoveries to the downside, but the overall push is to replicate what Asia has done. So multi-session carry. Okay, so that is that. Now New York completes that downside discovery one time, one clean session. Okay, yeah, this is a true characteristic of pure session discovery to the downside. This here is an important piece of information because usually we would see multi-session discovery to the downside, but in this case New York has completed that push to the downside, okay, by itself, which is an important data point to make a note of. Now moving over to New York and Asia, we have a New York and Asia delta over here. I did say Asia's breach one sits at 115, but we don't have that breach too. But this micro breach at 130 has been accepted by the markets, but we are going to be fully open if the market decides to push lower, but we'll take that as it comes. So the delta gets over here, revisitation, lift off, London lift off. Now London session leaves unresolved inventory over here. It's a non-delta play, so whatever Asia does, London needs to replicate. However, the discovery is to the downside. New York opens, discovery complete, force raid into London low. Discovery is complete. New York prints the delta at 1815. New York leaves unresolved inventory at 4355. First session high, 1-2, flat bodies to the upside. Very easy to identify. So New York has left unresolved inventory twice. Monday, Tuesday, and now we have New York and Asia delta play in motion. So if I just bring New York's delta across the grid, we can see that Asia over here, yeah. So we have New York and Asia inverse, simply because the delta was printed over here. Okay, we can drag the delta across the grid and we can use that delta. Now price needs to revisit the delta area. So New York, Asia, all Asia had to do was print the first high, which sits over here, 12:15. First low, 12:45, 1 o'clock. Print downside breaches. 1, 515, 2, 530, and then price must revisit the delta low. Asia and London both have revisited the delta low. Price can lift off from here, my friends, okay, which can cancel out the, well, to be honest with you, we have Asia and London non-delta play, but this is a bit confusing here because Asia is non-delta, so is London so far, okay. But you know, if we just look at how we've got Asia and London non-delta play, meaning London needs to do exactly, replicate what Asia's done, which is continuation, but the discovery needs to be completed first. So we are in that discovery phase right now. So the delta low, confluence here, plus London's discovery to the upside, it adds up. And we are closer and closer to the truth. Caught this beautiful move to the downside, caught this beautiful move to the upside, and shorts from here as well. Yesterday I was longs from here. I personally went longs on this candle, 15.15, but because I was out and about, making my way to the gym, I couldn't manage my exposure, so I got stopped out by a few pips, but that's totally fine, and then popped. So I re-engaged later on, right here, once price was pushing lower, got myself involved, and then Asia carried it, closed out, woke up an hour ago. Now we are moving towards FOMC today, 12:30. London desk opens 1300. NY cash desk opens 13:30. NY cash desk fully opens. The current session here right now, first high sits at 7:45, 8 o'clock. First low sits at 8 o'clock, 8:15. Breach 1, breach 2. 8:45, breach 1. 9 o'clock, breach 2. The upside breaches are still pending above the first high and the first low. So keep that in mind. Okay. At the same time, my friends, we have huge selling imbalance, which was balanced by huge buying imbalance, minus 323, and then plus 250, and then positive delta across the grid. We have to wait now and see what's really, true over here, because look, like I said, I'm not here to predict price action. We know exactly where the breaches are pending. Here, and even Asia prints first high at 12:15. We get that breach 1 at 2 o'clock. We need that one more breach. So right now we could see a blow off top. We could see a full-on blow off top, and then price can mingle around 4,380s and so on and so forth. And then maybe Thursday, Friday, we could see price action pushing lower, or it could be a next week's play. Okay, there is a gap over here. I think a lot of people are chasing the gap. Market opened. There's a gap here, as you can see. So a lot of people are chasing this gap, which is a 600 pip push. Now, in my opinion, there isn't any unresolved inventory over here apart from New York's, low and breach 1 and breach 2, which is still pending, but the market has accepted the micro breaches. So with that being said, let's monitor and let's track what really happens today. Asia, because right now price is really squeezing it. Look at Asia. 300 pips. Asia is not delivering. Okay. London and New York are the delivery sessions right now, which is really, really important. So London needs to set London needs to set itself up for New York, and how it does that, it all just depends. For example, here, London set itself up for that London and New York inverse, cool. But then New York, right now we are not getting these clean Asia and London inverses, okay. We are not getting these clean session inverses, so be mindful, because when we do get these clean session inverses, it allows us to really look at, because it allows us to understand the discovery window closure. Like right now, I can't really tell you if the discovery window is going to be closing at a specific level or an area, because there's too many non-delta models. if we had delta model, like for example here right now, we've got New York and Asia, which is the delta model. Okay, New York runs into it, taps the delta low. Cool, let's put that back. New York and Asia, delta model. So right now, the Asia and London delta models have been shifted towards New York and Asia. Okay, so London becomes a delivery sort of session, and that's what we need. That's all we need to understand and see how this is going to play out. Prior weeks to this, New York was a delivery session. Okay, Asia would set up London, London would squeeze, New York would deliver. Vice versa, London would set up New York, New York and Asia would deliver. So it's important to understand that. Very, very important. For some reason, I do see that I do see that the current session or New York can slip heavy. Okay. However, this session here, Monday's New York session, is the only session that is holding price above Asia's delta. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this relatively short, 11 minutes. We are gonna observe and see how price reacts into these areas. Do take your partials, close performance fees, close 90%, close 80%, whatever you can, and be proactive. Be proactive, my friends, because the market can print, it's FOMC. A lot can happen, things can change. And during FOMC weeks, it's always going to be it's a week where you don't really want to be trading, you know. But you can trade. You can, we caught good moves here as well. So yeah, my friends, I will check in later on. I'll come back later on. I'm gonna go get some food and then see how this plays out for us. Okay, let's crack on.